the demonstration. Rama, back to you.
Thank you, John. So this is your Charlee search user interface. Right? You have a search bar. You have a few filters that you can apply. What we have done is we have loaded Charlee with a set of anonymized claims data. Charlee has done all the heavy lifting, and it's ready for you to search. In this particular demo, I have two filters. There's line of business and cause of loss. In the actual system, there will be other filters available, including location, timelines, and other things that you can find on the claim. So let's say if you want to search for soft tissue injury, and you want to look as a claims manager for the claims that have soft tissue injury and what happens on those particular claims. You want to limit it to auto line of business. And let's say you want to select all the causes of loss. I just select all here and see what happens. What Charlee does when you do that search is it does a semantic search. What it means is it does not just look for the phrase soft tissue injury. It will look for various terms that indicate that there's a soft tissue injury. For example, neck pain, back pain, sprain, various things that might indicate it's a soft tissue injury. So let me hit go. And what Charlee does is it will go through all the different claim files, do the search, collate all the information together, and come up with certain metrics and build up a dashboard. So right here, what you see is the average cost of a soft tissue injury claim with an auto is about 4 times that of a non-soft tissue injury claim. And you can see right here, if you mouse over, their soft tissue injury claim on average in this data costs $9,000, and a non-soft tissue injury claim costs $2,000. It also looks at different patterns that are found in those claims. For example, it tells you that the top pattern is almost 30 times more expensive. So if you have a soft tissue injury, you have a chiropractor involved, but there is also a third party, another party in the claim who claims there was no injury. So there is that thing going on, and there's an ambulance involved. The average cost of those kind of claims is going up to $60,000. So it brings up the key cost drivers. Charlee also brings up the key litigation drivers. For instance, you can see right away that your soft tissue injury claims has an 8 times higher chance of going into litigation and a 9 times higher chance of going into trial. There are a lot of other graphs that you can get, and the UI is customizable. You can put different metrics based on your requirements. Now, let's take an example. Let's say if you want to look at who are the significant entities that are involved in soft tissue injury claims in my data. So what Charlee does is automatically extracts various entities from claim notes, body shops, lawyers, chiropractors, various things that might find. So it brings up, and it does various analysis, and it brings up, for example, Hasanayada body shop. It's found in 30 claims. And when there is a soft tissue injury claim with Hasanayada body shop involved, there is a 40% chance of litigation. And if there's no soft tissue injury, it's 30% chance of litigation. When Hasanayada body shop is involved, your average claim cost is going up to $12,500 as opposed to your normal $2,000 that you saw. So this is the kind of data that Charlee can bring up. Tim, is this the kind of data that would have helped you in your analysis?
Absolutely. As I mentioned before, excuse me, soft tissue injuries, they are huge in the personal lines injury and insurance issues. But the problem we have is we are looking at severity here. In your first graph, you showed that your soft tissue injuries had a higher claim frequency, and they also settled for higher amounts, which is your severity. And also, if there's patterns that show that some people are injured in the car and some people are not, and they had soft tissue injuries, and one person was taken to a hospital by ambulance, those are contradictory. Okay, unless someone's got a medical condition, and a lot of these cases we notice are low-speed bumper taps. That's one of the issues you can look at, and the diagram would show that maybe you need to assign these types of cases to a higher level or more senior level claims handler or investigator to find out and quickly contact the claimants and find out what exactly is going on. Why were you not hurt? The person next to you had a soft tissue injury, and the person behind you went to the hospital by ambulance. Those are indicators that need to be investigated. That's the severity issue, an investigation and assignment issue. Secondly, your increased severity when you have chiropractors and attorneys, as you've noted in the graphs there, there's an indication that if you have the same body shop and the same law firm involved in a number of your claims, you might have a fraud ring. It's an indicator only. It's not a definite issue. You have to investigate it. But this is helping you because insurance companies and claims departments particularly, they move like battleships sometimes. We can't move quickly enough to address an issue. But with this type of information at your fingertips, you can make assignments quicker, send it to the right adjuster, send it to the SIU if necessary, and also confirm with the NICB if you have a kickback scheme or a body shop that's in cahoots with an attorney or law office.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks, Tim. So this kind of information can help you prioritize and focus your investigation. So that's great.
Absolutely.
Just wanted to mention to everyone that the names in this demo have been anonymized. So just wanted to make that clear. Now, let's say if I go back and I wanted to look at what are those soft tissue injury claims. So I can drill down. I can drill down from the dashboard, and we can provide various types of drill downs. So when you do a drill down, what the system would do is it goes and it searches the various claim files for the search term. So in this case, for example, it does a semantic search for soft tissue injury, and it comes back. For example, there's a claim that had low back pain and neck sprain, another one which had neck, back, and shoulder pain. And it's looking at different PDF documents, claim notes, various things. It also correlates that data along with other attributes of the claim, so you can do further analysis and dig into it based on that as well. So let me walk you through another example here. Let's say now if you want to look at roof damage claims, and you want to look at a property line of business, and I'm going to select all the cause of loss again. Now, again, this would do a semantic search, so things like ceiling damage or shingles broken or things like that would also come up in the search. And let's see what it gives you. So, right away, what you can see is that a roof damage claim has a 2.5 times higher cost and a 1.5 times higher chance of litigation. You can also see things like, for example, what is the breakdown of the cause of loss that is leading to these roof damage claims. Another thing that Charlee automatically does is we have various built-in machine learning models and AI models to extract topics from the claims. So, for example, you can look at what are the significant topics that are found in my roof damage claims, and it tells you right there that things like reinspection, mold, or a fact of loss discrepancy. These are some of the significant topics. These are having a higher chance of litigation or a higher cost involved. So, Tim, if we had things like this, well, how would you use the topic-based analysis?
Again, Rama, these are indicators that you have some concerns. And if you have roof claims that have a high tendency towards litigation, that's a first-party coverage. And if something is damaging your roof, a tree falling or wind damage, blow shingles off, why would that lead to litigation? So that's the question that every claims handler should look at, and also why the claims manager needs to dig down and find out what's going on, especially if you have a high tendency or a high number of cases like this going to litigation. There's no reason for that. The other issue is there possible pre-existing damage to the roof? And if there's pre-existing damage to the roof or the roof is old, maybe it's an underwriting concern. Again, these are indicators that lead to other questions and further analysis. If the underwriting of the homes is inadequate, you're not doing inspections, you have a 50-year-old roof, well, yeah, it's going to blow off if the first major storm that comes along. The other issue, what about mold? How do you get mold from a windstorm or a tree fall? Is maybe someone is not mitigating their damages. Maybe they're failing to shore up the home because maybe they want to have a new room addition, or they want to have additional work done that is not covered. Those are issues that you need to look at each individual file to determine. But again, this is a very, very fast analysis, as opposed to waiting after you've either started your investigation, you've lost the case to a public adjuster, and you've lost control, and then you're heading towards litigation if there's an attorney involved. Again, they're just signs that the claims manager needs to take a look at, because he or she can either hire an engineer, assign it to a higher level claims handler if you're noticing a tendency in certain areas. If you're in Storm Alley in the middle of the United States, you might want to make sure that you're really getting on top of these cases quickly. And again, as I said, circling back to the original cause, make sure that your underwriting department is doing proper roof inspections in advance. And that's just off the top of my head, looking at this graph. And there's much more information you could call from this if you dig into each individual file.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks, Tim. So it's definitely can help in claims investigation, but you're saying can also feed into underwriting other aspects of the insurance process. That's great. The other thing I also wanted to point out in this is that what Charlee also does is it can combine the entities and topics and look for patterns and look at what happens when certain patterns are found in the claim. So for example, if this particular public adjuster, Oknossi PA, along with Rimnus roofing consultant, along with reinspection, is found in the claim, where there's an 80% chance of litigation with almost an $80,000 cost that's coming on those kind of claims. So again, Tim, are these kind of patterns something that might help with investigations?
Absolutely. As I mentioned previously, the public adjusters, in many parts of the country, that's the norm. If an insured has a windstorm, water damage, homeowner claim, public adjusters are signed up very regularly, and it's not really a problem. However, if you notice a pattern where when a public adjuster is involved versus when a public adjuster is not involved, your severity jumps 10, 20, 30, 40%. That's, again, when you need to make sure that you're assigning it to the senior most people if you have that pattern established. And you can also identify them by name. These names in the graph have been anonymized, but if you at your own company run this report, run a Charlee search, and you're coming up with the same characters over and over and over again in the same areas, you have a problem. And that's what we do in claims. We solve problems and we manage the risks. You can also hire engineers to make sure that there is adequate investigations and make sure that if you do send someone to the field, do a thorough inspection. But again, these are the kinds of responses to these trends that are shown up in the Charlee search that a claims manager can take very quickly and not have to wait until 3 to 6 months down the line. Because if cases are litigated, everyone knows the costs are through the roof, and you really lose control and you're on the defensive. And again, it's a first party claim with a roof damage, right? So with a roof claim, the only cause of action that you're looking at is a bad faith action. And you do not want a bad faith first party lawsuit against you with a public adjuster involved. So it's really incumbent upon the claims manager to get this information and act on it as quickly as possible.
Got it. Thank you, Tim. And so like Tim was mentioning, definitely entities in the claim, such as public adjusters, other entities are important to dig into. And that's another thing that Charlee can help you with. So let's say, if you want to take an example, let's take an example. I want to look for a specific entity, and I'm going to look for the Oknossi public adjuster. And again, I'm going to take property claims, but I'm going to limit it to just the following 3 claims this time and see what happens here. So Charlee can also do a lookup for different entities that are found in the claims. You can see right away that there's a 3 times higher cost, 3 times higher chance of litigation with this particular entity. It also correlates the entities and topics. So for example, you can see that there are certain other entities that are found along with the Oknossi public adjuster in multiple claims, and what happens when those particular entities come together in claims in terms of the cost and litigation drivers, and also various topics when they come together with the Oknossi PA. So this is the demo of Charlee that we wanted to give. There are other things in Charlee, but we'll stop here for the demo today. As I switch back to the slides, I will hand it back to John to start taking the question and answers, and also he has a special offer for you.
Thank you, Rama. So we've arrived at our Q&A session. And I am looking in the chat box, and I think that Rama and Tim have nailed it. There is no questions. So